This speech to me, over the years, we've brought in many speakers. Up. Ah. This to me is very precious to me. Very thankful I have this opportunity. And I want to tell you why it's so important. You know, a few weeks ago, there was a Palestinian terrorist tried to break into a car that had a couple in it. Imagine you're in a car with your wife. An Arab tries to break in. A border policeman came. There was an altercation. The policeman got shot. Someone got stabbed. So whenever I start this speech and I'm looking for something recent, to tell you how serious, how important this is, we talk about how, has just belief. We just got to believe. It's my luck. I'm a Jew. As Rabina says, my stupid mother, right? What he means by that is it's not your choice. You're Jewish. If you've ever been by a conversion, right? We discourage people to convert. We're stuck. So just believe. That Arab, he believed. There's over 5,000 terrorist attacks a year. And they all think that they're doing the right thing. Over 25,000 people a year get killed. Israel ends up in the news, but it's all over Africa. It's everywhere in the world. You only think it happens once in a while because you hear about it here. People killing other people because they think their religion, their rabbi, their whoever it is, their mullah, told them they should kidnapping kids. If it's just belief, why is their belief different than my belief? Their parents told them, they gave them some information. If there's a right and wrong, if there's a reward and punishment, the truth has to be available. It has to be something you can find. It can't be just something you believe. Because then why is the Arab wrong? I'm serious. So how can you know? How can you know? When I asked different people for feedback on this speech, so Rav Shragi told me that I'm just a bit too serious. I have to comment on it's my nature. This is a very important speech.
Did you say per speech? Are you serious?
I did. If you don't mind, I have a speech to give.
Okay.
All right. So,
what's the speech about?
Who are you? Huh?
I'm Dave. Dave Over. Who are you?
I'm Zev Bader. This speech, I spent a long time studying, trying to find the truth, learning from people like Rav Victor Miller, Rav Noach Weinberg, Rav Mordechai Nogoshol, who just spoke upstairs for Shana Bet, Rav Daniel Mechanic. And over the years, I would hear guys in yeshiva say there's no proof that Judaism is true, and I'd have conversations with them. And through that, over the years, it's become a speech to prove that that Judaism is true.
You have to be joking. There is no absolute truth. Everybody needs to find whatever their truth is for themselves.
So you don't take your Judaism seriously?
Of course I do. My baby was a great Talmud Torah. Zekel Yitzhak. I remember he would never dip his lox and cream cheese bagels into the chicken soup on Pesach. He said he didn't eat the brooks.
Gebrochs.
Gesundheit.
Oh my goodness. Okay, what I mean to say is, do you care about what the Torah says as instructions from God for how to live?
Why should I? If the truth was so clear, why aren't all Jews religious? And I have questions. You know, the Holocaust, bad things happening to good people, religious Jews doing bad things. Who in the world believes that Judaism is true? A small group of religious Jews. Judaism is just like any other religion. Basically, there's no reason to believe that God wrote the Torah and gave it to the Jewish people. Certainly not more than any other religion's origin story. The Torah is just not talking to me here and now.
All right, I'll take the challenge. We'll get back to you at the end. Let's go through it one at a time. What our friend Dave said. Now, what actually happened here was, this used to be just a plain speech with paper. And a couple weeks ago, I got COVID for the third time. I get a prize. And I had to give this speech by Michlala. And I was afraid I wouldn't fuss. There's so much information here. So much. So I just made a PowerPoint pretty much of all the stuff, just to keep track of it all. So I'm going to ask people to leave questions till the end. There's so much information here. I'm going to try and get it through it all before dinner. So right now, I'm even going to ignore my notes, and we're just going to follow. I made this here. Yomi here's going to follow us. We did the intro, so we go to 7 reasons. Let's go. 7 reasons why. Okay, so there's Dave. Right? He told us 7 things. He told us there's no absolute truth. He told us that if it was so clear, so everyone should know it. He has questions, Holocaust and the like. There's only a few people who really believe the Torah is true. All religions are the same. There's no evidence, and Torah's not talking to me here and now. Now, that would be great if I could start right now and I could just give you a note like the Breslevers have, you know, or the Nanachs, anyway, give you a note right now directly from God. That would be amazing, but that would kind of end my speech early. Let's go to There Is No Truth for 500, Bob. Okay. We're not looking for absolute truth. We're looking for what everybody in this room uses to make their decisions every single day. To know what truth is for you, that you're going to be able to say, this is right, this is how I know what to do. So let's go first. Parents, who here can tell me 100% certainty that your parents are your parents? 100%. How do you know? Who wants to go for it? Yeah? How do you know?
It's a long story, actually.
Oh, really? But you know for sure?
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Nobody could have faked the test results?
Nope.
There's no way somebody was paid off in the back end?
No.
You're sure?
Yeah.
Oh, that was the first. Okay, moving on. I'm afraid the story's not for the public, so. Yeah.
Hundreds of alumni, whenever they saw me, told me they changed my diaper, they gave me like these.
Yeah, but maybe you were adopted from the hospital. Maybe your mother on the way out of the hospital told your father, look, the baby needs changing, and he went and changed you with another baby. That's what you told me to do. Yeah? Right? Come home from the hospital. Listen, we all know Photoshop. We all know the chats right now. You can tell the computer to computer generate a picture now. It'll do it, whatever you want. Yeah?
As a trip, but I don't think anyone's psychotic enough to voluntarily go through that.
To go through what? Changing a baby in the hospital? What?
3 of them. I've done it. I'm a triplet.
Oh. There you go.
Only 2 of them look alike. That's the thing.
So the point is, guys, the truth is, even with tests, even if somebody really wants to fake something, and we all know it's true, right? We don't 100% know anything. It doesn't matter. We have a thing called the chazaka. We have enough information to say that's good enough for me to make a decision to go there. I'm not afraid I'm going to go. Maybe my parents are aliens. I'm not, maybe. Who cares? I don't have to make anything. What? Yeah? You sure he's your brother? Yeah?
From the side, you can anonymously source home DNA tests that'll show it's similar.
Yes, because no one in the lab has ever been paid off.
Home tests.
Right, but somebody has to do the results.
You can test them through other people.
Okay, yeah, like I'm saying, how many people here, besides the one that have done home DNA tests to see whether or not you are your parent's child? Right? Okay, moving on, next one. What's the next one? We got here a job. You guys are going to be looking for a job one day. You're going to ask people, is this a good place to work for? Right? Or you're going to be like a Jew and you're going to network during davening. Please wait till after davening to network. Right? And you're going to find, you're going to work hard and get the best grades, and at the end of the day, you're going to go to the rich guy who sits on the bench in shul and say, you got something for me? And people, if you show up to work, they're willing to give you a job, give you a chance. Jews, we're good to each other. But maybe they're there, maybe it's a scam. How do you trust anything? You know which college to go to? Is it absolutely 100% true this is the right job for you? You did some research. It makes sense. There's going to be a limit where you say that's good enough for me, and you're going to make a decision based on it. One more. And this is Old Sparky in Texas. Right? We kill people based on what? A preponderance of the evidence beyond a reasonable doubt. We kill people. Thing called justice. We get mad at our roommates because we're sure they're the one who sat on my bed after I made it so nicely. Right? Or who made noise last night. We're sure it has to be, right? We don't make decisions based on absolute truth. It's just not honest to say that we do. If everything else in life and death, so we're not looking for absolute truth here. We can all be a dream of somebody here and it's all fake and I'm going to trick you. We're looking for beyond a reasonable doubt things, basic information that we would make decisions on than anything else in life that's important. Moving on. So, if the truth of Judaism was so clear, why are we all religious? Okay, we don't have that many more pictures because I only had a head for the beginning to add in pictures, but we're going to go with this one. Go. How many people here have done a 1,000-piece puzzle? You guys need a life, I'm telling you. I'm kidding. Okay, no. I've sat with, okay. Now, how do you do it? Everyone starts the same way, right? We do the edges, right? And then we pick some color or picture, we do a tree. What happens if you're doing your 1,000-piece puzzle and you're missing one piece in like the tree that you're doing? How long are you looking in the box for the piece? How long? Can you show us the otter, please? There we go. How long are you going to look for the missing piece? Until you find it, doesn't matter how long, unless you have Dovi, my grandson. This is not my grandson. I'm afraid of, it's the random kid from the internet. Okay, but if you have Dovi, my grandson, it is possible that he ate your piece or flushed it down the toilet, and you will never see it again. So how long are you going to look for that piece? In other words, we only look for something if we think it can be found. The reason why, even though it's possible, and what we're going to attempt to do is show there is evidence that the Judaism is true, is if no one thinks it's possible that it's true, they think it's all a big joke, they're not going to look for the truth. But that doesn't mean it's not there. Moving on. I have questions. Okay. I have questions. Big questions. Good. Forget the papers. We're just using this. Okay. So before we deal with the questions, what are we trying to prove here? Let's get this clear. Two options. Only two options. There may be more. I'm only dealing with two for the sake of the presentation. One is that the Torah is authored by God. Torah meaning the 5 books of Moses. Chamisha Chumshei Torah. Good? The other option is it was written by a man or men. Could it be it was done by an angel? Could it be that it was done by a crazy God? Remember, the Torah describes God as good omnipotent, knowing the future, all-powerful, just leave it, right? We can make a God that's a liar. You want to make a God that's a liar? Yeah, he gave us the Torah. He's all-powerful, but he's not really that good, even though he presents himself as good. You want to go? That's fine. I'm not coming right now. If you want to make it, the Torah was given by an all-powerful God that knows the future and is in charge of everything, and he's just not good, and he's a liar in the Torah. Okay, that's a whole different question. It's not for this speech. We're going to assume that if it was written by God, that what's in the Torah is true. Okay? These are our two options. So we have a God who's good. He knows the future. What does it mean he knows the future? So that's going to answer a lot of things if he's all-powerful. Knows the truth. Let's say the oral Torah, right? If we can prove that God gave us the Torah, so then the oral Torah is not going to be a question either. Why? How many people here have blue tefillin? No? Purple? I've seen Talesim with the football team's logos on them. Why don't you have round tefillin? What is it? Where in the Torah does it say how tefillin has to be? It doesn't. It says phylacteries. They don't even know how to translate it. Right? They don't have a word for it. Few places says in Torah. What is it? So why do we all have black tefillin? The Torah gives an explanation that must come with it. You don't know what to do. That's called the oral tradition. That's all it is. Makes no sense. We have a Torah thing on Shabbos called the malacha. What's a malacha? You cannot do a malacha on Shabbos. Or what? You get lashes, and if you're warned, and there's witnesses, you get killed. What is called work on Shabbos? Oh, for everybody for themselves. They figure it out. Okay, but then we're going to kill you if you do it. You have to remember that in the beginning, as soon as we're giving the Torah in the desert, there's Jews, there's a court, there has to be a definition. It's not in the Torah. That's called the oral tradition. You'll find it all throughout the Torah. The oral tradition is the explanation that is necessary, that must come with the Torah, or it makes no sense. So if God gave the 5 books of Moses, and the 5 books of Moses needs the oral tradition, so then that's true also. The rabbis. What do we do with the rabbis? You ever heard anybody say, well, I don't have to listen to the rabbis? Sorry, I gave away to my voice there. Yeah? I don't have to listen to the rabbis because by the Holocaust, the rabbis, I'm going to questions at the end because I'm going to lose it. The rabbis, people ask rabbis whether they should leave Europe, and some of the rabbis told them to stay. So you see, rabbis can't be wrong. I don't listen to rabbis. Anybody who makes the argument is displaying their ignorance. Because you opened up the first page of the Gemara in Brachos, and you open the Mishnah, and look, there's a machlokas. One rabbi tells the other rabbi that he's wrong. And the other rabbi says, no, you're wrong. And you go down the page, there's another machlokas, and there's a machlokas Rashi tells us, and on the next page, there are thousands of rabbis telling thousands of rabbis that you're wrong. Can rabbis be wrong? Let's get this straight. Yes, they can. Because someone is a rabbi does not mean he's an expert in everything. It doesn't mean he's infallible. I'll give you an example. Do not take health advice from a person that looks like me. Right? Just because someone's a rabbi, there's what he's an expert in and what he's not. Rabbis can be wrong. That being said, the Torah puts halacha in the hands of the rabbis. And Baruch Hashem, the Torah says, it's not your job to know what Moshe said by Har Sinai to keep it. You just have to follow the qualified rabbi. If he's doing it with Yiras Shamayim, and he has the Masorah of how to come to halacha, he does not come in with an agenda, you follow him, you're good. And this is, by the way, very important in Shalom. Because if my rabbi tells me to do something, and your rabbi, who's a qualified rabbi, tells you to do something, I can't tell you to follow my rabbi. You're not supposed to. You're supposed to follow your rabbi. Says the Chai Adam, what's the only exception? If you're capable of becoming a rabbi yourself, so do that. Great. So God knows the future. He said rely on the rabbis. That's what it says in the Torah. So we can realize it's academic now. You have to deal with the questions. Go back. You got to deal with all the questions now. But if God gave the Torah, so then you have a question you need to answer. Go to the full one now. Answer the questions. Deal with the Holocaust. The Torah talks about the Holocaust. It's not a surprise. The halachic process. Bad things happening to good people. Look, it looks like there's mistakes in there. If God gave the Torah, and it's not a man, you have an academic question that you should pursue. I need to understand how this makes sense if God gave the Torah. Good, pursue it. But it's not going to be a question of whether, once you prove he gave the Torah, it's not a question that, oh, I see he didn't give the Torah. It's an academic question. If he gave the Torah, I need to understand this. How does this make any sense? Good, moving on. On we go. We're still in 7 reasons. And next. Oh, a few fanatics. Here we go. Okay, so before we move on, there's a few prerequisites we need to do. So let's deal first. Rav Thaler touched this, so we'll save some time. What is the age of the Chamisha Chumshei Torah that we're talking about, the 5 books of Moses? So he talked about it. I'm going to add one in. If you add to the age of the Torah, please. If you'll get it. And that is not Bologna, that is Bologna. Bologna. Anybody ever been there in Italy? They purportedly have the oldest Sefer Torah there. It's about 700 years old. Actual Sefer Torah. Okay, then we have the Septuagint, 2,400 years ago. I'm going to do one more. Let's go back. Samaritans. Who are the Samaritans in Har Gerizim? You ever heard them? Bunch of people who don't hold Torah Shabbat Peh. Right? There's a group. Actually exists. They have Masorah. They have Archom Yishichum Shei Torah. They just changed a couple of things. They went in where it says, talking about the base of Mikdash, where it's supposed to be, they put on Har Gerizim. Everything else is exactly what we have. So I want you to recognize something. If a Jew wanted to change a word in the Torah, passed from their tradition or from the Septuagint 2,300 years ago, they'd have to go into every Motel 6 and change it in the book there. We can't make any changes. How old is the tradition of the Samaritans? So they have Chamisha Chumshei Torah almost exactly as we do, and they have a garbled version of Sefer Yeshua, which means whatever tradition they got, says Rav Avigdor Zatzal, they got from a group that broke off from the Jews in the times of Joshua. Within 100 years of us coming into Eretz Yisrael and getting the Torah. Which means we're now standing 3,200 years ago holding a complete Chamisha Chumshei Torah. Right? You ever heard people talk about, yeah, there's the A version and the B version, and it's written over so many years, and it was different people. We're holding a complete Chamisha Chumshei Torah in the times of Joshua now. Okay? So if we want to go, we'd have to go into their shuls and change it. We'd have to go into the church. We'd have to go into the museums and make changes. They have the exact same thing that we have. So now we're holding a Chamisha Chumshei Torah that's 3,000 years old. You want to go just with the Septuagint? I don't care. It's 2,300 years old. Great. Wonderful. Moving on. The second thing we need to know is what is a negative proof? All the proofs we're dealing with now of whether it's God or whether it's a person is a negative proof. I'm going to give you some proofs. Now, this is not the proof. And I'm going to bring you a lot of things that other people bring as the proof. I'm not saying it's not a proof. But I just want to give you an example of what it means, how you prove between these two options. So the Torah tells us, Shemitah. We all just went through Shemitah. If a person's going to be scared, and he said, what am I going to eat? He's going to get a triple crop in the 6th year. Would a human being have written that? They go into Eretz Yisrael. There's a mitzvah Shemitah. The first Shemitah is going to come. He's going to look for his triple crop. It's not going to come. And everyone's going to say, this is all false. And that's the end. Is it logical that a human being would have put that mitzvah in the Torah? He has no control over it. Give you another one. I know a person who became the process of becoming frum through the next one. Ola Regel. Torah says everybody should be Ola Regel. These are psukim. I'm not telling you Torah Shabbat Peh Rashis. Everyone should be Ola Regel. Everyone go 3 times a year. What about the neighbors who want to kill us and who want to steal our land and take our women, take our children, our cows? Don't worry about them. Border police go too. But they're going to attack us. They're not going to want to attack you when you go to Yerushalayim for Sukkot. What's going to happen? The first time we're going to go to Yerushalayim, we're going to come back, our village is burned, everybody's killed, and that's the end of the religion. No human being would have written that. That's a negative proof. We're showing you that a man writing it is illogical. It doesn't make sense that a man would have written that. The other alternative, it was written by God. On we go, but I'm not bringing you that, but just to open your mouth. Okay, let's do some origin story comparison. Here we go. Comparing different religions. Let's start. There's been 2,000 to 5,000 religions. Hold on. And they all start the same way. Every religion starts the same way. They all start with a origin story of divine God talking to one or two people and telling them the secret of humanity, of what we're here for, and they spread now their story to everybody else. That's how all religions start. Thousands of religions, right? Let's do Christianity. Christianity says, this is the story of Christianity, everything in the Torah is true. Get this right. Christianity says it all happened. It's all true. Chamisha Chum Torah is the word of God. All true. Right? And then Peter, on his way to Damascus, had a vision of an angel that only he saw. The soldiers heard, didn't. And it gave him the secret of life, Christianity, all about Yashka Pandrik. And he went and told everybody else about it. That's the story. I want you to realize how crazy this is. Right? Let's go. It's like, here we go. I want you to imagine Rav Bina and Rav Chanan. They get up and they say 2 rules now. 2 rules. One rule is you may not miss Shachris. Rule number 2 is you may not walk through the shuk. Okay? And I'm telling you now, the punishments are never going to change. They're written in stone. If you miss Shachris, slap on the wrist. If you walk through the shuk, your life is over. You're not going to get a shidduch. You're finished. You're not getting into college. You're done. Got it? Missing Shachris, slap on the wrist. Walking through the shuk, your life is over. Good? And we're never going to change the rules. And if anybody says we changed the rules, kill him. I'm throw him out of yeshiva. Got it? I'm telling you it. Okay. Now Rav Chanan goes with Rav Bina into his office, and Rav Bina says to Rav Chanan, okay, we're changing the rules. From now on, walking through the shuk, slap on the wrist, missing chakras, your life is over. I said, but you said we're never going to change. It's okay. We're changing the rules. Does that make any sense? Oh, so let's at least go make a big announcement, call everybody back and tell them we changed? No. You just tell a few people, they'll tell everybody else. That's what Christianity says. Christianity says, yeah, the Torah, God spoke to all the Jews. The Torah is all true. And now I'm going to go up to Shemayim, and they're going to say, eternal hell and damnation. And I'm going to say, I didn't speak that much Lashon Hara. Why? It says, because you didn't accept Jesus. Who? Jesus. You had to accept him. But you told us that if anybody says that the rules changed, kill him. You're never going to change it. All over the Torah, we're always going to be the eternal nation. He's always going to be with us. He's never going to give up on us. That's what Christianity says. Okay, moving on. Islam. Oh, wow, same thing. Everything in this Torah is true. But then, and by the way, they believe that Jesus is a prophet too. Everything's true. All the stories of the Avos, true. They changed it, the Yishmael, they changed a couple things out. They don't have the word for word. But everything's true. Yes, we left Mitzrayim with prophesied miracles. Absolutely. Yes, God spoke to, they actually have it. Their version in the Quran is we're under the mountain when we got the Torah. The Gemara's version, Takti Sahar. We're actually under the mountain. So everything in the Torah is true. And then Muhammad had a vision. The El Baruch, the flying horse, came and gave him the Quran. And I'll prove to you the Quran's true because it's so beautiful, but you can't really know it because it's written in Arabic. So only Arabs can know that. But it's the true religion. God changed his mind. Does God know the future? Yes. Is the Torah true? Yes. So I don't get it. Okay, that's religion. Let's go. Let's move on here. Now, just by the way, we had in our chart there, only a few Jews believe Judaism is true. Do you realize that keep it there. Most of the world believes Torah Judaism is correct. That it actually all happened. And we were given the Torah and the commandments. Most of the world believes. It's not a few correct. The only people who don't believe is Jews. I guess because it matters to them. Right? Most of the world, and there's other sects out there, there's other groups out there that also believe in this. The majority of the world is either Christian or Muslim. They believe Torah Sinai occurred. This is not a proof. I am not proving to you that it happened because if it wasn't true, it wouldn't prove anything. I'm just taking away the blocker that there's just a few people that believe in it. It's not true. Most of the world believes. You realize this? You're part of a religion that most of the world, while they reject the religion and say God changed his mind, even though he said he would never change his mind, and knows the future, they all believe it's true. Our religion. And we're struggling with it today in the Emunah seminar. Okay, on we go. Let's do one more. The Mormon. Mormons are fun. Joseph Smith is walking in upstate New York looking for Dougies. What? No, upstate New York. Upstate New York. No, that's what he moved after. Bad name. Yes, and suddenly the angel Moroni comes down and shows him the Book of Mormon. And he opens it, but he can't read it because it's written in ancient Egyptian hieroglyphics. Suddenly appears a magic pair of glasses on the side of the road, which he puts on. I'm not making this up. This is what it says. This is there are millions of people in Utah who believe this now. Jazz fans. So, I guess hope is eternal. Yeah. So he puts on the magic glasses, and suddenly he can read it. Who saw this happen? No one. He saw it. Who saw this book? Well, he let a few people feel the book under a cloth later on. What happened to the glasses? They got lost. He made a lot of money from them. Right. What happened to Joseph Smith, by the way? Oh, he got caught messing around with the women in the sect, and he got hung by his own people. Okay, moving on. Everybody, all religions start with one or two people. Why is that? Why is it that all religions start with only one? Almost all of them are one. There are a couple with two. Why is it? So, do you remember in Elul when the IDF chief rabbi came to speak to us? About 2 weeks in Elul, and he convinced us all to make aliyah and to go to the army and to do exercise. I've been doing the exercises every day to get ready for the army, right? You all remember that, right? What? No, in Elul, right? You brought him in, the chief rabbi of the IDF. What? You don't? Okay, now, hit it. You cannot get a group of people to believe a lie happened to them. It never happened. It never happened. You can't do it. It doesn't work. You can't. It makes no sense. Nobody. I remember that. Oh, my ancestors, right? Yeah, how come they didn't tell me? It says the Torah is never. Oh, they forgot. It says the Torah will never be forgot. Lo yamush mi pizarach pizarach amar shemiat matav v'yad olam. It'll never be. We'll be passing it on. Keep going. Next. We have mitzvahs since Mitzrayim, since the day we left Mitzrayim, every day. I'm giving you just a few of them. We talk about twice a day, thanking Hashem, acknowledging He took us out of Egypt. Tefillin, in it, the power, all about the power Hashem showed in Egypt. Pesach, every year. Sholosh Regom, Zeichel Yitzias Mitzrayim. And somehow, someone had to get us to say, oh, yeah, all these things happened to you, but you forgot about them. And all these mitzvahs that it says you've been doing since they happened, you should start doing now to help you remember these events that never happened, that you have to trust me happened. It makes absolutely no sense. Nobody would take it on. That's why all the other religions, you can get people to believe a lie happened to somebody else. You can't get them to believe a lie happened to them or their ancestors if it's something that should have been passed on. It makes no sense. It makes no sense. So then we have a question about our guy here. Let's move on then. Oh, let's go. Yeah, all religions are the same. Why not? No, we did that. Go back. All religions are not the same. Move on. So go to no evidence. What's there? Behind door number 1. Yeah? No, we have more than that. Good. We did that. Okay. So we see religions are different. We see that people, you can't get people to believe a lie. Remember in the beginning where I told you, if I can give you a note from Hashem. Here. Pass these out. You want one? You've seen this before already. Pass these out to everyone. Take a minute. Okay. So the real question is, now we see that most of the world does believe Torah is true. We see that Judaism is not like any other religion. We've seen some things to show that it's not the same. Move on. Here we go. The proof. Stop here. How did this guy, if everybody else, thousands of religions, it would have taken a little bit of ink to say, the Lord spoke to me in front of the Christian nation of, remember, how many people in the Jewish nation by Har Sinai? 600,000 males of army age. So we have kids, we have adult, we have old people, we have women, a couple million people at least. Why doesn't any other religion claim an origin story? Now, by the way, I just want to make, I made a website, I didn't bring the slide of it, you can go look it up. I made a website years ago called TorahChallenge.com. I put up some money there. You know what crowdsourcing is? What? Crowdsourcing. And I just wanted to know, are we the only religion that claims that the nation witnessed it, that it happened to them? And I put up money, if anybody can come up with another nation that claims our story happened to them. So far, zero's answered, thousands of people on the site. I went, you know the new GP chats they have? They have now the AI chats now. They can write your term papers for you. Yeah, so I went, I had a 2-hour conversation with one the other day. They have built-in bias, but I got it to actually do the research and say clearly there is no other religion that claims that a spiritual being, their origin story is from God, a clear, not from a man, addressing all of them, and they all live to talk about it. It took me a while to get it to parameters straight, but it was very clear. Okay, so how did our guy do it? Remember, we have two options here. It was made by man or man, say man just because it's easier to say, or God. Let's say it's a man, chas v'shalom. A man made it so it's all a big lie. Everything until now, it's just a big lie. Why did thousands of religions, they couldn't get witnesses to the origin, to the national revelation? And we could. How did they do it? I don't care. I don't care how he did it. Shrooms. Technology. I don't care. He found the secret of how to get, I was able to convince you all that you had an IDF to speak. He found a way to do it. He did it. Hypnosis, mass hypnosis, yeah. Hallucinogens, great LSD, he did it. But no one else figured out the secret, right? But he knows it can be done. Here we go. Go to the proof, please. Would this guy, the one guy that knows that you can get a group of people to believe a lie happened to them, would he stake the credibility of the entire religion on a prediction that no one else in all of history, not tomorrow, not somewhere else in the world, and not in 2,000 years, will ever make the same claim? That the world, that God revealed himself in the world to an entire nation, God saved a nation within another nation. Would he ever claim, stake the entire, is it logical that he would stake the credibility of the whole religion that no one else is going to do what he just did, because he knows it's a big lie? He knows you can get a group of people to believe a lie. Would he say my religion's only true if no one else pulls off what I just did? That's not very logical. Move on. And yes, here we go. Guys, look at your papers here. Dvarim Perak Daled, this is in the Septuagint. This is in the Samaritan Torah from 3,000 years ago. A prediction. I'm going to summarize it. You will be spread out at the end of days across the face of the earth, and you will be looking for strength. You'll be looking for truth. And if you want truth, you want strength, ask one question. Is there, and look around, ask your parents, do a Google search. Is there any nation in the world ever, in all of history, anywhere in the world that claims that they were saved, their whole nation, from within another nation of witnesses, by the way, with prophesied miracles? You'll find places on the web, oh look, they had locusts. Look, they had the river turn red. Yes, predicted. Where there was a prophecy, this is going to happen, and then it happened. With another nation watching it, and you're being saved from within another nation. And then God speaking to the whole nation. Not in the form of a human, from fire. And to live to talk about it. There's some Indian thing where there was a group that apparently God spoke to the entire group, and then they all died. How do we know about it? Oh, so one prophet later says he prophesied that he knows it happened. The whole group has to live. Very clear. From a spiritual being to an entire nation, and everybody walks away to tell their children about it. The writer of the Torah stakes the entire credibility of the Torah that no one else is going to do what he just did. Is that logical? Does that make any sense that he would do that? No. Thank you. On we go. 1 second. So now we're left with a final question. Let's have Dave again.
All right. I got it. But you left one question. The question of the prophecy. For all the people sitting here. The prophecy says that Jews today, you folks, if you are honest and looking for the truth, you will find strength and return to God and His Torah. So the only question left is, are you honestly looking for the truth?